Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today, I will be welcoming back my good friend, Terry Bolo. I'm having her on the show today to talk about Christmas stuff, Christmas plans. Want to ask her about some movie work she did that I was not aware of the fact that she was in the background of the hotel outside the hotel in Ghostbusters. I want to ask her about that because the 35th anniversary is winding down, and just talk about stuff like that. Nothing earth-shaking. Talk about Christmas movies too and stuff like that in life. I love Terry. She's the aunt I always wanted. I just enjoy talking to her. She's a sweetheart. So yeah, here is my new interview with Terry Bolo.
Good morning, Tommy.
Good morning, Terry. How are you?
Oh, pretty good. Getting my second cup of coffee here.
I had a cold Starbucks Frappuccino in the refrigerator that I had before my first interview today. So
you're all primed up.
Yep, I pretty much am.
Good. Oh, fabulous.
Yeah, I'm so glad this year is ending. This year was a total clusterfuck, but it's ending on a hopeful note.
Hey, not only do we have a new year, but a new decade.
I know.
It's the roaring 20s.
I had a conversation with somebody about that the other day, that the roaring 20s is coming.
Uh-huh.
It's coming back, actually.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if it's as fun as the first roaring 20s were. But then you know what happened after that.
What, prohibition?
And the stock market crash. Oh, I think prohibition fueled the roaring 20s because everybody was, using, getting all that illegal hooch, and then so everybody was still partying, but with illegal booze, and then the stock market crashed. Oh God, somebody's calling me. We're not on things. I've heard a lot of people say, he didn't gotten back to me yet.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's ending on a hopeful note for me though, because hopefully I got that movie role next year to do, and
fabulous.
Yeah, when my mom and I we had dinner with that producer, writer, director, actor that night at Roscoe's in West Hollywood, and he told us about the movie and stuff. I'm still trying to wait to hear back from it. He said that when I talked to him back in July that the financing hasn't happened yet, but he's going to keep me posted. So I got that.
That's exciting. Yeah.
It's exciting. I got that, and I got to see if I can host a movie screening and a panel. I'm trying to put that together. Everyone's just reluctant for me to do crowdfunding for it, but I'm not rich. I can't pull money out and give it to them for that, So I have to do crowdfunding, but nobody's getting back to me, so we'll see what happens. But I'm trying to host a panel at this Comic-Con in the Bay Area. I should be hearing from them pretty soon. I want to teach people how to start a podcast in their bedroom, so it's a little demonstration thing.
Oh, great. Podcast from the bedroom.
Yeah, that's what this is, so I got to teach them. And tell them, you got to persevere and don't let people tell you can't do something,
Yeah.
Because next month will be 5 years since I had my accident.
Wow. Oh.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's funny. I'd never revealed this to anybody before, but I'll reveal it to you. The kind of staticky flash I get from my phone when I do a podcast, I kind of saw that when I was in my coma.
Oh.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. Well, are electrical.
No, but like, it's like, that was God's way of telling me what my future was going to be.
Oh.
It's got to be some kind of destiny thing.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah. Tomorrow I'm going to have my lab results at the doctor and stuff, because I had my physical the week before Thanksgiving, and I hope I'm okay. I mean, I feel fine, other than I have some kind of lower back trouble right now, but other than that, I feel fine.
Uh-huh. Yeah, good. Yeah, lower back stuff, that's real common. I think.
Especially as you get older, you get that pain.
Yeah, I've had it for years, too.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
I can't believe you just saw Home Alone for the first time.
Yeah, I know. Me neither. I don't know why I didn't. I guess it just looked like too much like a kiddie movie or something. But it was funny. It was cute. I really enjoyed it.
My mom took me to see my parents both took me to see the movie the weekend before Christmas in 1990. The movie had been out since like the week before Thanksgiving, and it was the #1 movie in the world for like 6 weeks up to that point. It was,
oh my God,
huge. It was just mega huge. We wanted to see what the fuss was about, and it was a lot funnier than I thought the previews made it out to be, and we were just cracking up. I remember the biggest joke in the theater I did not get because I was 7, but as I watch it now, I laugh my ass off. When they're up in the tree, and Joe Pesci's like, "Where'd the kid go?" And Daniel Stern says, "Maybe he committed suicide." It got a huge laugh in the theater. I didn't get it. The only other time I heard the word suicide was from the NXS song "Suicide Blonde." Yeah.
Oh my God, and he was so good.
Mm-hmm.
What a good little kid actor he was.
Yeah. Did you see the other movies he did?
He's carrying the whole movie. No.
You didn't ride the wave of Macaulay Culkin during that time. He did My Girl, which is a beautiful little melodrama comedy with him and another child actress, Anna Klumsky, and Dan Aykroyd.
Oh, right.
Dan Aykroyd plays her father, and he dies at the end. Macaulay Culkin, he gets stung by bees, and it's really, really devastating. He did that. He did a Nutcracker revival movie that wasn't that good.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
He did Richie Rich, the comic strip, movie, and it was funny. It wasn't great, but it was funny.
I used to love Richie Rich when I was a kid.
Yeah, he actually did a good job, I thought. And I actually found out some pretty interesting trivia for that movie, too. I found out that Joe Dante was originally going to direct the movie. Joel Silver really wanted Joe Dante to direct it, but I think it fell through, and then Donald Petrie ended up directing it because he was hot off Grumpy Old Men and stuff. Yeah, that ended up being Macaulay Culkin's last movie as a kid, and then his parents took all his money, and his life was screwed up for a while, and now in the last decade or so he's made a comeback as an adult actor in independent films and stuff.
Yeah, and I saw, is it a commercial where he kind of recreates with a lot of the Home Alone stuff as an adult?
I didn't see that, but I want to see it after you described
Funny,
it.
I just saw it, yeah.
What?
I think it's a commercial.
Yeah, watch the second Home Alone 2. It's just as funny as the first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's got Tim Curry in it, the legendary Eddie Bracken, and he's lost in New York in that one.
Is it Christmas time?
Oh yeah, of course.
Of course. Yeah, I've been watching Christmas movies. I watched A Christmas Story last night.
Me too.
Huh?
Me too. I watched The Christmas Story last night too because I was supposed to interview. I'm supposed to interview the little bully today.
Oh my God, I love him.
Yes, that's.
Oh my God.
That's Yano Anaya, and he works in a gym now. He manages a gym or something, or owns one. And he's been rescheduling with me all month, but he said he said to me this morning, he's like, I'm going to have to reschedule one more time. Tonight we'll do it. And I was like, okay.
Tonight?
Yeah.
Tonight you're going to talk to Scott Farkas?
Oh, no, I talked to him last year. I'm talking about Grover Dill.
Last year.
Grover Dill, the little bully.
Oh, the little bully. Oh, is he ever cute?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, it was fun. Well, I had seen this. It was kind of like a homemade documentary.
Mm-hmm.
A couple who's crazy about A Christmas Story went to find all the locations and filmed it. And it's really cute and well done. And you know, they find all the places and interview people. And, you know, they go to the school and so they're back and forth between Cleveland and Toronto, finding all the locations. It was really cute. It's called Road Trip for Ralphie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe you can find it. You'd enjoy it. Have you seen the movie a lot? Well, who hasn't seen the movie a lot, right?
I've seen the movie so many times since I was like 5 years old. I could quote all the lines and everything.
Oh, cool. Then you'd enjoy this little documentary, yeah, if you can find it. Road Trip for Ralphie.
Yeah, I'll check it out. But
I had to watch the movie because I had seen the little documentary, so I wanted everything to be fresh in my mind.
I've had 4 people from the movie. I've had 3 people from the movie on, and he'll be my 4th. But I've had, Scott Farkas. I've had Flick, who gets his tongue stuck on the pole. Scotty Schwartz, he's been on. He's got some great stories. Oh, my God. He used to hang out with Richard Pryor because he did the toy with him. He's got great anecdotes there. And then I interviewed the teacher, Miss Shields, which I had a crush on her. I had a crush on her when I was a kid. And, oh, my God, we were so politically incorrect in that interview. You know, she let me tell her the sexual fantasy I used to have about her, and she was like, "Oh, I used to be very good at that when I was young." And I was like, "Oh, why you gotta torture me?"
Oh my God, that's a scream! Oh my God, Tommy.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. I got like lots of thumbs up on it on YouTube, and thumbs down too.
Oh God.
She's
yeah. So I had recently seen Planes, Trains, and Automobiles because I watched that every Thanksgiving.
Love it.
And then I watched Home Alone, and I'm thinking, is this the same house, same director, right?
It's John Hughes. Yeah.
Yeah. So did he use the same house? And so I looked it up. Did John Hughes use the same house for both those movies? And they're not. It's not the same house, but they're so similar.
Yes.
And they're in different locations. But they're just that American colonial brick with the white trim, and but the Home Alone house has 2 gables and the roof, and the Planes, Trains, Automobiles house has 3, or vice versa. I don't know. Anyway, you know, when you see the 2 photos side by side, you can see the differences, but they are really similar.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All of John Hughes' movies were shot in Chicago, where he was raised there. And they used a lot of the same houses, same neighborhood, same scenery, everything. And yeah, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a great movie. I laugh out loud when I see it. A friend of mine was actually in the movie that I've interviewed. She was cut out. It was a scene where they go to a strip club, and she's a stripper, and John Candy talks to her and stuff. And while Steve Martin is using the phone to telephone his wife. And then, she wants to, go have sex with him in the back or something. And then Steve Martin, drags him out of there. It was
how funny.
It was cut out.
Cut out of the movie?
Yeah, and the footage was lost.
Oh, shoot. Oh, that was great to see. He was so good in that. I mean, John Candy was a wonderful actor. You know, in such pathos. You know, he was so annoying, but... he was so lovable at the same time, you know. That's hard to pull off. And, of course, my friend Edie McClurk is in it.
Yep.
You got to tell Steve Martin he's fucked.
Yeah, you're
Where's your
fucked.
swear word, Tommy?
You're fucked. I love that scene.
Well, you're fucked.
You know why the reason why she said that was because it was a callback to when she was in Ferris Bueller, and she said, "Fucking motorheads."
Really?
Yeah. That's another John Hughes movie. Yeah. Yeah, John Hughes liked to cast a lot of the same people over again, but he also he was a guy who held grudges, and like if a movie of his didn't do well, he would never talk to that person or work with them again and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, he was a weird guy that way, but he was a brilliant writer.
Wow.
Just brilliant. But I've had two people from Home Alone on. The grocery store clerk who's asking him all those questions. You know, where's your parents? Yeah, that's Tracy Connor. She's an improv and sketch comedian from Chicago. That was her one and only movie credit. And I've interviewed the elf who directs him to Santa Claus. Her husband was the cinematographer on the movie, and she got in that movie, Home Alone 2, and another John Hughes movie that John Candy starred in called Only the Lonely. So she got to be in all three of those movies, and she's not an actress. It's just her husband worked on those movies, and so she got, a small part in all three.
Well, she was very funny as that elf.
Yeah, and she told me there was like no room to wiggle her toes in those shoes, those elf shoes. Yeah, and then tomorrow I got the Aunt Leslie, heavy-set blonde woman with glasses on. Tomorrow, or is it Friday? Yeah, today's Wednesday, so Friday I got her on, and I'm excited. She's a Hollywood agent.
And what movie was she in?
In Home Alone.
In Home Alone. Oh, uh-huh.
The heavy-set aunt, and the uncle, he's such an asshole. Yeah.
And then another Christmas movie I watched, which I love, and I worked on it, but I ended up getting cut out. Bad Santa.
You were in Bad Santa?
I worked on it, but I got cut out.
Oh, really? Would you?
I worked in the department store.
Mm-hmm.
Comes up the escalator and tears apart the whole nativity scene.
Yeah.
I was right there watching him. But the way the camera angles are and the way it got cut, I'm not there. But I know I was there.
Oh, my God.
But I love Bad Santa, but Bad Santa 2, don't go near it. It's a stinker.
I saw 2 in the theater, and I loved it, actually.
It's awful. You love Bad Santa 2?
Yeah.
Oh.
There was a line that had me roaring because I could relate to it. It's after he gets that hand job from that girl, and he says, "Man, you're really good." She says, "Thanks, I was an all-state shot putter in high school."
Oh, that's a pretty funny line.
Because I threw shot put in high school, so that's why it was funny to me.
Yeah, of course, it's even funnier to you. But you know what? For me, it just didn't work. But I love the first one so much. He's just talk about politically incorrect. I mean, I don't think they could make that movie today. The way he talks and the way he, he acts and lives his life. I mean, he's just.
Well, guess what? His little dwarf buddy Tony Cox.
Oh yeah.
He was at Monsterpalooza in September. When I was there in September, he was there visiting the dwarf actor Phil Fondacaro, who was signing, and he got a huge line of people just talking to him, and he wasn't even signing. And I wanted to, but there were so many people there, I didn't get to go over and talk to him. But of course, I met his friend who was signing, and it was crazy. I was like, it's so amazing what a movie like that will do,
He was very good. He was very good and very funny. And I noticed Alex Borstein has a small part as one of the moms taking her kids to visit Santa Claus. And then there's somebody else who's kind of a name right now who has a small part in it, and I'm totally blanking on it. I'll have to look up the cast list. But we filmed at a shopping mall somewhere like, I don't know, down in the South Bay or somewhere, and I think it had been abandoned or something. So they used that place. But, oh my God, Billy Bob. I just love him.
Well, I'll tell you, the security guard in Bad Santa 2, Jenny Zigarino, very funny stand-up comedian. I met her. She came to Rooster Teeth Feathers in the Bay Area to do a stand-up show, which she was friggin' hilarious. And we got to hang out after the show and stuff. And she was a lot of fun.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. And I guess they shot in Phoenix. I don't know, that house they live in. And Cloris Leachman is the dunked-out granny. I mean, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Always talking about making sandwiches. I'll make you some sandwiches.
Yeah. Yeah. My dad, he hasn't seen either Bad Santa, but I've told him about them, and I told him about in the first one when Tony Cox, is holding him at gunpoint, and he says, "I'm tired of your booze, your butt fucking, your bullshit," and he's like, "Sure, the 3 Bs." I love that.
Oh, I love Billy Bob.
Yeah.
I really like his new show, Goliath. This
I heard it's good.
Season, I really liked, and he had Kurt Russell and Bo Bridges in it. Oh my God!
Wow.
Have you seen either season? I think
I just heard about it. I haven't actually watched it yet.
I liked the first season.
Mm-hmm.
Second season I thought was kind of weird, and the third season is really good. They're up in the Central Valley, and Kurt Russell, I think, is a landowner, like almond farm owner.
Mm-hmm.
Almond farm, and it's about fights over water rights and stuff like that. And then there's this really interesting lounge singer, and her name's Linda Kay,
mm-hmm.
and she sings. She's real sultry, and she has a real retro look. I just fell in love with it. It's like, oh my God, who's that? Kind of like the way David Lynch used Julie Cruz, the singer in Twin Peaks.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while, you see Billy Bob walks into this bar, and this girl standing there and singing. She sings songs from the 60s, like Town Without Pity, and so she's singing all these Roy Orbison and Gene Pitney songs, and she's dressed like, this 60s chanteuse. I really like her voice.
Mm-hmm.
From Texas. Kind of a Texas blues singer, bluesy type. But anyway, yeah, I really like his Goliath. He's a lawyer, and I think he stopped practicing.
Yeah.
But he takes on cases just because he wants to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of a broken down person, but it's like he's a crusader,
Mm-hmm.
I really like him.
Yeah, I'll check it out. It sounds like it'd be a good show. It's just, I do watch streaming, but I prefer, TV, and I prefer seeing movies in theaters and stuff. It's just the only time I ever really go on Netflix is when a comedian I like has a special out.
Yeah. What was I going to say? So I've been trying to watch some Christmas movies, and I went to this thing at the Hollywood Heritage Museum. It's the barn. I don't know if you know about it in Hollywood.
The barn.
The beginnings of Paramount Pictures. It started out in this little barn, 1914, and the barn's been saved, and it's been moved many times, and now it's a little museum. Actually, it was sitting on the lot at Paramount for a while. And now it's across the street from the Hollywood Bowl, and it's a little museum dedicated to silent films, and they have a little gift shop. Well, they do these special programs and retrospectives and things like that. So I went to this thing on Ernie Kovac.
Ernie Kovacs.
I remember watching him when I was a kid, and my parents loved him, and he was just so offbeat. And then they told the story that the women, there was a couple of women that he used in his sketches.
Right.
He used them frequently, and one of them, her boyfriend, who she later married, was a crew guy on Ernie Kovac's show, and his name was George Schlatter.
George Schlatter, yeah.
Who went on to,
Laughing.
So Ernie Kovac's really kind of set the tone for, all that comedy, TV comedy, from Laugh-In to Saturday Night Live. He just influenced so many people. And all his stuff, it's like hardly any of it got saved.
Yeah.
We're just dumping it all.
Oh, yeah. In those days, they would just, erase the tapes and start over. The only time they would ever really save anything is if it got a high rating and it became iconic.
Well, Edie Adams finally just bought up a bunch of it. She says, I'll buy it. Don't do anything with it. And so a few things did get saved. So I got a DVD of the specials that he did.
Yeah. I have a DVD of, like, Martin and Lewis on the Colgate Comedy Hour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The ones that survived and stuff. Some really great stuff, too. You know, Jerry Lewis saying, "I'm not a stool pigeon. I don't even like peanuts." And I heard, oh my God, Jerry Lewis stole a lot of his persona from Harry Ritz.
Oh, huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, I didn't even realize that. He's the originator of "Hey lady" and all that stuff.
Well, of course, you know, as a kid, I loved Jerry Lewis, and then I remember my parents telling me, "Well, he and Dean Martin used to be an actor." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
Really?
By the time you were old enough to remember, he was in the Rat Pack.
Yeah.
I got the same reaction because my early reference of Dean Martin was when he was in the Cannonball Run movies. You know, him and Sammy were in the Cannonball Run movies with Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like we used to watch the Jerry Lewis telethon, right? And then when I found out that they were a comedy team, I was like, really? And then I started watching, you know, these Disney documentaries about Martin and Lewis, and I was like, oh my God, they were brilliant together. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I never even saw very much of that, you know, until later. You know, so it just seemed like such an odd pairing.
My mom will tell you, I seen every Jerry Lewis movie ever made, and I had every one of them on tape. And back in the 90s, early 90s, you know, our local UHF stations would play his movies all the time. And if they had a movie of his that was on while I was in school, my mom or my dad, it was mostly like my dad, because he went through periods where he wasn't working when I was a kid, he would tape the movie for me while I was at school.
Ooh.
They were on constantly, the Jerry Lewis movies, and now they're never on TV, sadly.
Oh, I know. Well, I think the reason why, you know, people my age, and I don't know, maybe your age too, but we grew up watching old movies on TV, and you rarely see that anymore unless you're on Turner Classic Movies or something like that.
Yeah.
But I remember watching all these old movies, you know, on TV when I was young, because it was cheap filler.
Yeah.
For the local stations.
Yeah, the $1 billion movie.
Mm-hmm.
Was that what it was called, or the $1 million? It's one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
$1 million movie, yeah.
It was very popular in the West Coast. A lot of actors who grew up in New York grew up watching that, I've noticed. You know.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I mean, because, you know, how else are you supposed to know who U.S. and W.C. Fields are? I mean, kids today don't know who they are.
No, and they don't care either, which is sad. You know?
It's kind of tragic, really. There's so much cultural history that's being lost because the kids think the world started the day they were born.
Yeah. I used to think that myself, you know. I was like, there was never a 1970. And my parents were like, yes, there was.
I know. And I was out with a friend not too long ago, and he invited someone else to come along. You know, I just met this guy, and he didn't realize how young he was. And Roy, my friend Roy, says to him, "What year were you born in?" He says, 88 or something like that. I went, "Boy, you sure missed a lot."
I got to see the last good stuff of it because I was born in 83. Yeah.
But you're an old soul. You know, I have another young friend. Well, she's even a lot younger than you, and she knows all these old stars because she was born too late. You know, she really identifies more with the past, and she loves old Hollywood, and she came to visit the dearly departed, and she would come and hang around, and then finally Scott asked her to be a docent, a volunteer docent on Saturdays, and tell people about the museum. So, and it's like she's just so thrilled. Comes to Hollywood, and she goes, "I can't believe I've been in Hollywood a few months, and now I'm telling people about Jay Mansfield's death car.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, have you watched the Charlie Brown Christmas special this year?
Yes, of course.
I tried to get the voice of Lucy on, Tracy Shaw. She played the little girl with the killer doll talking Tina on Twilight Zone.
Oh my God.
And she's a librarian up in Oregon, and she said she did a podcast interview a couple of years ago, and it didn't sit well with the people at her school. And I was like, I listened to that interview. There was nothing wrong with it, and yeah, she didn't want to come on, sadly, and I was pretty devastated because it's funny. All the actors, all the voice actors from that special, they were all from my part of the Bay Area, San Mateo, and I can't get in touch with any of them. But she was like, yeah, she was the only one who was in Los Angeles too.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all so perfect. Oh, and I love Peppermint Patty. Hey, Chuck.
Yeah.
Chuck.
My brother was around when the Charlie Brown theatrical movies came out. There's the one where they're in summer camp, Race for Your Life, Charlie Brown. And then there's the one where Charlie Brown moves, Bon Voyage, Charlie Brown, and Don't Come Back. There's that one. I watched those ones when I was a kid. Those were like my earliest introductions to Charlie Brown. And then
the stage play was so successful. And, it was on Broadway, and, it played for years and years. And when I was working at the Pantages Theater, when it was still a movie theater, we did a couple of shows. Hey, kids, let's put on a show. And we did, and mostly just for invited people, because we weren't legally allowed to have it for the public.
Yeah.
So we just invited friends and family, and we did a vaudeville show, and we did You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. And I was Peppermint Patty.
Oh, I bet you were adorable.
With her little jump rope. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Oh my God. I was in the Bay Area a couple weeks ago, and I went to the last video store they got down there that has VHS, and I picked up some VHS movies, and one of them was a movie you were in, Private Benjamin.
Oh my God, yeah, did you see me?
I looked for you. You were one of the recruits, right? And when they're when they're, at ease, soldiers, when Eileen Brennan comes in, right?
Yeah, I remember I was standing behind Goldie. I was in the row behind her.
Yeah, I was trying to look for you, but now I know where you are now. I love the part, and I forgot about it too, and I was cracking up, because I know PJ Souls as well as you do, and I was cracking up when she's caught naked with Craig T. Nelson. I was just cracking up. I was cracking up at that. I forgot about that part.
Oh my God!
Next time I talk to PJ, I'm gonna say, "Oh, I saw that part. I forgot all about it." And I was just laughing out loud.
Oh my God, Craig T. Nelson. He was an early groundling, but actually he was in the Gary Austin workshop before we became the groundlings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a picture of him in Mitzi Shore's office where he has a beard. And it's still there from what I've been told.
Wow.
Yeah, because he was writing for the Smothers Brothers show. He was there with Barry Levinson, Rudy DeLuca, and, oh God, what's his name? He went on to have a pretty successful career.
Well, Steve Martin, too. But then there was another one. I'm trying.
Carl Gottlieb.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, big writer, yeah.
I tried to get Carl on the podcast. He's kind of done with it now that he's in his 80s, sadly enough.
Oh, goodness.
He's a Renaissance man.
Oh, my God.
Because he wrote The Jerk and wrote Jaws and so much good stuff.
Was he also like one of those ghost writers or script doctors that people would go to them and like
I'm sure.
Brown was? And...
Yeah, I'm sure he was, because he was that good of a writer. And he was a member of the committee.
Oh, yeah.
He was in there with Gary and Howard Hessman and Fred Willard and Rob Reiner and all them.
Alan Meyerson.
Alan Meyerson. Yes.
Uh,
Gary Goodrow.
Wow. God, you're so good.
It's been a while.
You're a walking encyclopedia.
It's been a while since a woman said that to me. Yeah, I did try to look for you outside of the hotel in Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that's a tough one too. I was just there at the Biltmore Hotel the other night and reminiscing about running into Bill, and I hadn't seen him in a while. You know, I was knew him because of Lorraine Newman.
Yeah.
Introduced me to him when he first got on Saturday Night Live, and they were both in LA visiting, and we all hung out, and we just had a blast. And so then I hadn't seen him in a while, and then I show up on Ghostbusters, and I'm standing there on the sidewalk, and he's standing by the car, Ghostbusters car, and I'm just looking at him. I'm thinking, should I go say hi? I wonder if he'll remember me. And all of a sudden, he looks over at me, and he runs over, and he picks me up, and he twirls me around. And he's like, hey, how are you? And, he invited me into his motorhome, to chat for a bit. And then later, after filming, he invited me to have a drink with him and Ivan Reitman in the bar.
Yeah.
And, almost everything he said, everything that came out of his mouth was funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like people there's some people that aren't funny off stage, like Steve Martin and Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Both of whom I've been acquainted with in my life. They weren't really very funny people off stage. They were actually kind of serious and...
Well, Robin could turn it on at any time. Steve Martin, I think that, he's like Christopher Guest in that he only wants to do it on stage.
Yeah, but Bill Murray is just like, he does a running commentary on everything, and it's just hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's just, nonstop, just doing satire on everything and everyone, and I don't know where it comes from.
I just interviewed Lisa Mendy, the woman with the ugly baby on Seinfeld. She played Bill Murray's mother in Scrooged during the flashback scene. She told me she had a very good experience with him and his brother Brian. Bill has had a reputation with certain people for being kind of a jerk, but she said she had a really good experience with him.
Yeah, I think he's just one of those exasperating people. You can't help but love him, but he can drive you crazy too. Do you know that he has 6 sons?
Yeah.
When I read that, I couldn't believe it. He has 6 boys.
Yeah, well, he came from a family of like 9, right?
Yeah, huge family. Yeah. I don't know how many different mothers there are, but yeah. And when he got his he got some award, I don't know if it was the Mark Twain or AFI or anyway, all his kids are sitting there. So I'm like, oh my God, look at all these guys. And you wonder, which ones are they all funny like him?
Yeah. His brother John, oh God, he should have been really successful. He is a funny guy. He did this movie in the mid-'80s called Moving Violations, and he is just like his brother in that movie. He is laugh out loud funny.
Really? John Murray?
Yeah. Oh God, he is a scream. It's just, he's obviously doing his brother, but he's just really witty and quick to anything.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess it runs in the family. Well, I remember when I first met Bill, he had just gotten on Saturday Night Live, so he wasn't really famous yet. But people, we would go out in public, people would say, "You look familiar to me. Do I know you from somewhere? Are you from? Did we go to high school?" And he'd just go, "No." So people had seen him on Saturday Night Live, but he wasn't really famous yet. He was the new guy. But yeah. But I remember him saying that he was sort of surprised and taken aback that he got the job because it was his brother who was kind of like the rising star in Second City.
Right.
So I think maybe he had a little bit of guilt about, thinking that maybe, he got his brother's job or something. I don't know. It was just kind of odd. I never heard anyone, talk like that before. It's like, oh, it should have been my brother. I don't know why I got this job. And,
yeah.
Well, surprised by it.
When he got on Saturday Night Live, Chevy Chase was very jealous that he had left early, and they got into a fight backstage. It's legendary. And I've heard both of them tell the story, and neither one of them will say out loud what Bill said to Chevy that ticked him off, because Chevy had drawn first blood and said, you're the big star in this show, and you're taking over what I started or something, and Bill said something inappropriate, and then they tried to fight, and then John Belushi had to hold Chevy back, and then Brian was holding Bill back. It was a huge mess, but then they made up, of course, and they did that hilarious scene in Caddyshack where they're smoking dope.
Oh my God, Caddyshack! Oh my God!
Yeah.
That movie's so freaking funny. Wow. I never heard that before. That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, Caddyshack. Oh, God, I love that movie. I've talked to a few people from it, like Ann Ryerson.
Uh-huh.
And Cindy Morgan, who plays Ted Knight's niece, his slutty niece. She's completely far removed from that. She's a true feminist, if ever there was one, in a Catholic schoolgirl and all that. And what my favorite story from that movie was that Chevy had taken a stinky dump in Ted Knight's trailer, and he blamed it on Rodney. Because him and Rodney really did not get along in real life. Both Ted Knight and Rodney did not get along.
Oh my God. Rodney was such a scream in that movie. And so one time I was at the Improv.
Yeah.
My friend and I, we see Rodney, and we go up to him. Oh, we love you. And then he's like started hitting on us. It's like, oh my God.
He hit on
you. Can't blame a guy for trying, I guess.
Oh, I've heard so many great stories about Rodney. It always ends with him making a funny punchline. Every story. My favorite one, him and a couple of hookers are outside of a store waiting for Ron Jeremy to come out. And Bob Saget walks by and says, "Hey, Rodney, how you doing?" And he says, I'm with a couple of girls I can't fuck, and I'm waiting for a guy who could suck his own dick. Oh, how are you, Bob?
Bob Saget. Bob Saget, he's got this, squeaky clean image from his America's Funniest Home Videos.
Full House.
His stand-up act is raunchy.
Yeah. When he was young, from what I've been told from a lot of comedians from his era, he had a very blue act, but it wasn't as bad as it became after Full House, because he wanted to just leave that image behind. He didn't even want to do that show. He thought it was just going to be a pilot that didn't get sold, and when it got picked up, he needed the money because he was raising a family,
Wow.
He hated every minute of that show, he said. People ask him what his favorite episode is. He said, the last one. There was a...
Well, those little girls, I was a stand-in for Ashley.
Oh, yeah?
They had a show called Two of a Kind.
Yes.
And I was one of their stand-ins. And those girls were very professional.
Yeah.
And, you never saw a temper tantrum or, anything out of them. It's like they were, what they lacked in talent, because I really don't think they were that talented.
Yeah.
They were just cute as hell. And, but they were very professional on set. And I remember seeing their little sister, who's quite the actress now, running around. She was really little back then. So they were 12, I think, when I was working with them.
Wow. Yeah. To me, their cuteness kind of faded over time. They're not as cute. They're not as cute. They're not as beautiful as adults, I think. That's just what I see.
Well, their younger sister is, I think, prettier.
I never saw their younger sister.
Elizabeth Olsen. She's kind of up and coming. She's been in a couple of movies. I can't remember right now what they are, but I remember just seeing her name in the credits in a few movies. She's kind of like on the rise right now,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you look her up. You probably might even recognize her because she's gotten some publicity, from her films that she's doing. I can't, remember all the names and details of everything, but she's very pretty. Elizabeth Olsen, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did you posted, and I saw many people posted, that Paul Rubens is doing the Pee-wee's Big Adventure tour next year?
Oh!
The screening tour?
Yeah. Someone else had told me about it. It's like, oh my God, this is the first I've heard of this, and it sounds wonderful.
Yeah, Diane Salinger, she's hosting a screening of the movie January 3rd at the New Art in L.A. And her and my mom, they've been on the phone like every night for the last 9 months since they met. I'll tell you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think she's a very interesting person. She teaches acting too.
Yeah, she does. Yeah. She just got booked for the Hollywood show, which I'm very happy about because she told us back in April that she's been having a lot of taxes and she's been looking for work and she's been losing out on roles. And I said, get into, signing autographs at shows and stuff, And she's like, how do I do that? And I said, you have your agent or whoever, contact them, but you have to be invited mostly, But like in the case of the Hollywood show, though, I think agents can get away with booking their clients for that show, because they want everybody for that one.
Well, someone suggested I do it, and I said, well, not on my own. I said, and they said, well, yeah, you call yourself the cult, the bit part, the queen of bit part. I can't even say it.
The queen of bit parts.
Bit part queen of cult films. It's like I came up with that when I had to write a bio for the Groundlings 40th anniversary show. Bit part queen of cult films. I said, I don't think that's enough. I said, if there was a Carrie cast or a Big Wednesday cast or some other cast, I'd be happy to join that, but I wouldn't go try to do one on my own.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you got the cast of Carrie or something,
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun, And oh my God, I wrote a part for you in this horror film I wrote. But your character doesn't go anywhere near the horror. She just brings humor, the humor situation to a couple scenes in the movie.
Oh, awesome!
And I wrote for me to play your autistic nephew.
This sounds pretty demented.
It is very demented, but it's really good. And I got my friend Stephanie Hodge playing the pissed off, angry neighbor, and like she's walking by as you're like watering your plants, and you're like, hey, and she's like, fuck you, and you're like, awesome. You're always happy and optimistic. Yeah, I hope I get to make the movie. I really do.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
I hope I do. Yeah. So, what are your Christmas plans this year?
Well, I always go up to San Luis Obispo where I have my sister, her three sons, and their kids, and so it's a lot of nephews, great niece, and so it's a nice little getaway up there. San Luis Obispo is a really nice little town. They filmed My Blue Heaven there.
Yep, I love that movie.
Yeah, they go by that theater, the Fremont. Yeah, it's really good. So, it's a great little community. It's, about a 3.5 hour drive or so. I'll be going up there. What about you? Staying home?
Yeah, my mom said she's having a little procedure done, with her arms all fucked up,
Oh.
She's having a little procedure done on Monday the 23rd, and then we're just going to keep it low-key, make our traditional honey ham dinner that we've been making for many, many years. And it's just going to be the two of us. My brother's in rehab until May, so it's going to be... Yeah, it's going to be very low-key. And we had been invited to go to my godparents, which I dread because they're just they're out of my league. My godparents are very conservative, very rich. They don't share, and they're going to be going to their neighbor's house for dinner, and they invited us, but I don't think we're going to go. We may go visit my brother this weekend because it's his birthday, and there's a family orientation thing going on. It's all up to how Mom feels, though. She's been very sick the last couple of weeks with the flu, so.
Oh, the worst. And, it's like I had that, and it's like for a couple months afterwards, you're just so tired all the time. It's awful.
Yeah.
The
last time.
God bless her. Give her a hug for me.
I will. The last time I had the flu was in April of 2017 when we first moved into this place. I was sick for about 5 days, and that was the last time I've had it. I don't get sick very much anymore. We have our flu shots every year, but this year it skipped Mom. It skipped her.
Oh man, I know. I couldn't believe when I got the flu in June. I thought, okay, is this like late or early? I'm feeling better now, thank God.
That's good.
I got put my tree up and decorated it, and my kitty's been really good. He hasn't gone near it.
Oh, ours has. We have a little one, that we put on a table.
Me too.
Little one. Yeah, and our cat, we had to hide it in the closet, especially when we're gone, because she'll just get all over it.
I saw some funny pictures, people posting how to keep their cat away from the tree, and one of them they put the tree in a cage.
Yeah.
Another one, it took me a minute, but a visual of a Christmas tree, decorated Christmas tree with 2 vacuum cleaners in front of it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
My cat, freaks out over the vacuum cleaner, right? As soon as I start vacuuming, he disappears. It's like, I'm looking at this Christmas tree with 2 vacuum cleaners in front of it, and I'm like, what? And then all of a sudden I just burst out laughing.
Oh my God.
It just killed me.
Did you get my card yet?
Yes, Tommy, I did. Did you get mine?
I haven't gotten anybody's cards since I've sent.
You're kidding.
No. It's that time of year, where traffic is backed up at the post office.
Oh, wow. Okay. Because I wrote in the card I sent you, I said, you were my first Christmas card. And, and I tried to get mine out pretty early, but you beat me. And, so a couple people I heard from, I loved your card. And then I'm wondering why I haven't heard from a couple other people. And it's like, they probably haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah.
It's been like a week.
I'm thinking that's what it is, yeah. I've sent cards to a lot of my guests that have sent me things this year, free DVDs or books or whatever. And I just think I owe it to them to send them a card to show my gratitude, Yeah, your auntie, she's supposed to tell me where I'm going to send hers. So I got to get it out fast, before the traffic gets really bad.
Oh, I can just Facebook message you her address.
Okay, yeah. She just wrote a really funny status about New Year's Eve having a Schitt's Creek marathon.
Oh, she's obsessed with Schitt's Creek. Oh my God! And she finally convinced me to watch it, and I binge watched it. And it's like I want to go live with those guys. They're so hilarious. The kids. Daniel Levy is such a scream. Have you watched it?
No. What does he do?
Oh, it's just his character. They were rich. The premise is they were really rich and they lost all their money. So their one asset they had left was this little town that he bought as a joke. So it's Eugene Levy and his real son, Daniel Levy.
Yeah.
And so they're the kids, and then they have a daughter, and they're just, real privileged. And so here they are in this little hick town, and they still, dress like they're rich and, act all entitled and everything. And every once in a while, the daughter will say something like, well, where were you when I was trapped in the Sultan's palace? Because she's a socialite, And he's like, all he wears is sweaters and he's always folding his knits, and he's just this fastidious gay guy, and they're just, I love the kids, they're a scream. So they're living in 2 rooms in a motel, in this crummy little motel that they own. That's all they have left, and just trying to make their life, and Chris Elliott is in it.
I love him.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it's a good one. So I ended up binge watching, like, I don't know, how 4 seasons. Yeah. When you do that, you feel like you know everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point now where I don't do presents anymore. I used to give lots of presents in my 20s, but so few people appreciated them and even claimed them when I told them, that I got something from them. I had some freaky girlfriends I used to give inappropriate presents to, and I thought, we stood on a certain, ground, but they were offended by a lot of stuff I gave them.
Oh, they didn't get your humor.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, it was, we did have, an inappropriate sense of humor that we shared and stuff, but I guess, we weren't that close that they didn't like stuff that I got them, like this one girl I was friends with, me and her ex were childhood friends, and I got her a glass dildo.
I was going to say, would you get her, Tommy, a dildo?
Yes, exactly. Got her a glass dildo, and he never confronted me on it, but she told me he was pretty upset, and she was kind of befuddled by it and stuff. I was like, nah, just I mean, it's just it's just something you can have because you're a woman.
Gift, ha, pun intended, no pun intended. Dad gift, Dad.
Yeah. And I remember another time too. I had this. There was this girl. Her and my brother had known each other since they were in kindergarten, and there was a period where her and I were fucking, and we had a relationship where we could sleep together but see other people. So for Christmas in like 2012, I think it was, I got her a box of disposable douche with a card that said, "Remember, this can also be the name of some of the guys you've dated." Yeah. and oh my God, yeah, we didn't talk much after that.
Well, maybe it's one thing to talk dirty and laugh, but then when you see something tangible like that, it's a little off-putting.
Yeah.
I don't know, but if you had that kind of inappropriate relationship, and then all of a sudden they're balking at the gift, it's just like. Maybe when you see something, physical, it's just like, oh.
Yeah. And I'd never have that intention to offend anybody,
Tommy, don't send me a dildo or douche, please.
No, but I'm just saying, I never intend to offend anybody on that level, It's just I have a very irreverent sense of humor, and it's always to make the person laugh, and I tried to surround myself with people who have a sense of humor like that,
Right. Yeah.
It's never to be intended with cruelty, but yeah. Oh my God! In the Bay Area, we had this annual event called the Christmas Train, in which our entire transit system, every train in every city in the Bay Area, has a train that people gather around to see, full of Santas, elves, Christmas lights, banners, the whole 9 yards, and they give free presents to kids that are there with their parents. It's been going on for years, and I miss it despite the crowds. It's really hard to get in there and see sometimes, but they have it every year. And that girl I was telling you about, that I gave the glass dildo to, after they broke up, I confessed my feelings for her, and she did not feel the same way, and she was actually quite cruel about it. But we were supposed to go out, and we were going to go see the Christmas Train. This was the last Christmas I was in the Bay Area, and we didn't get to do it. But I did go, and oh my God, it was crowded. It was crowded.
Well, it sounds like something that would be pretty popular,
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I just got a beep, 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 which means my cell phone is dying.
Oh, boy, yeah. I had that the other day talking to somebody. So
It seems like my phone is only good for about